Hello and welcome to the Jesus Christ, the Peak Millennials Podcast. I'm your host, Natalie.
And I'm your host, Collins.
Each week, we delve deep into various peak millennial topics, exploring what we remember and what we want to forget, and read some captivating stories that will invoke a sense of deja vu in all of us. This is the age before iPhones and social media we know today. This is where a good mix CD, silver eyeshadow, and MTV raised us. So crack open a Jones soda, kick off your black Converse, and let's teleport back to the world of Peak Millennials. Send all your stories to peakmillennialspod@gmail.com and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And this week, we are diving deep into the phenomenon of Twilight. Hello, hello.
Hello. You did such a great job.
Thank you. I kind of biffed there right at the beginning, but that's fine. That's fine. We're all learning here.
It's totally gravy. If you hear people upstairs dancing or shouting or screaming, by the way, I have new upstairs neighbors.
Oh, they moved in. New neighbors.
They moved in last month, and after the same people living upstairs for 4.5 years, we get these frat bros and a baby.
Oh, that's maybe it's like a 3 men and a baby scenario. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I was gonna say my mess up is a proof that we are not AI. We are real. We are real people.
I should use it as an excuse for all of my mistakes. Oh, hey,
it's AI.
It's just proof I am an AI, or I'm not an AI. Wait. I got confused.
I am not AI.
Yeah, I'm not AI, but this is the Peak Millennials Podcast. If you're new here, again, like, share, subscribe, send us all of your stories over at the Peak Millennials Pod @gmail.com.
We love you and we want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. I want to say people who are millennials don't like to email because guess what? We've got zero emails. Plenty of DMs.
Yes.
Saying I'm gonna email you. But as of 7:52 p.m. on November 9th, zero emails.
Maybe that's a play. Maybe we just need to say hit us up in our DMs. Send us a DM. Send us a Instagram DM, a TikTok, YouTube, even comment in our YouTube. We did get a little spicy comment on our YouTube. That was fun.
My gosh, shout out to our first hater. If you want to go back to our last video, we got our first hate comment. So I want to acknowledge how positive y'all are responding to our last episode about video games across multiple platforms, over 150 listens and views. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. We are a self-produced podcast. Do I know what I'm doing?
No.
No. Somebody let us buy microphones and a StreamYard link, and suddenly
here we are, professionals doing it all.
So
I have a small little ring light and a microphone and a headset.
Yeah.
And some electronics. Do I know how to use all of them? No. But I'm figuring it out. We're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out along the way. But before we dive into the wonderful world that is Where the Hell You Been, Loca? Twilight.
Love it.
How was your week?
It was good. It was good. It was pretty uneventful this week. I lost my whole train of thought. It was fine to me. The weather was We call it like running down the path. Like I just like it blew like leaves down the path, and I have lost it.
We are in the thick of fall. Like
We are
summer
very,
is
very much
gone. Daylight
so
savings
gone.
gone.
It is only 7. Well, I mean, like it's almost 8 here, I guess, but it's pitch black dark.
Yeah.
No, the weather was nice enough yesterday on a weekend day, because like there's no way that we're getting anything done during the week really. That I went out into my garden and finished like ripping out all of last summer's or last garden season's stuff and planted all of my garlic for the 2026 season.
You have to plant it now.
You plant it now because it needs the cold. It needs the cold weather to, it's
Interesting.
called cold stratification.
Oh,
But basically it needs cold to develop its roots, so that you get like good bits of garlic. But here it's my my little garden plot. It looks just like lines of an unknown
wow.
substance that I'm not going to say. Hello, friends. But I planted 95 cloves of garlic, so we'll see. It'll be really
95.
fun.
Perfect.
What about you?
Perfect thing to talk about when we're talking about vampires, you know?
Yeah, I thought so. So lovely. What about you? How's your week?
My week was, my week was trying to get over daylight savings because, I'm sure it's very different with children, but with dogs, they can't comprehend time. So it's been a lot of adjustment.
Yeah.
Also, the neighbors, full done pissed me off this week. I shouldn't be able to hear full conversations from any room in my house with the windows closed, doors closed, everything's closed. So I'm just not having a good time. Work is work. It sucks. But yesterday I got to celebrate my husband's birthday, and
Hooray! Happy birthday.
we went to the so he was on the episode last week. You want to go watch that. But yeah, we went and had some sushi. All you can eat sushi.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yum, yum.
It was fantastic. We went to the arcade. It was great. So we have a lot to go over. We are talking about Twilight, which is my special interest, which happens to coincide with a lot of the things that are going on currently in the stratosphere of millennialism, because nostalgia is a huge thing. Did you know, right before Halloween, they were playing all the Twilight movies in theater every single day? So Wednesday was Twilight, Thursday was New Moon, Friday was Eclipse, so on and so forth. I only got to go to one showing, which is totally fine. But it got me thinking. It used to be cringe, I guess, to like Twilight, especially since we were adults and all of this is happening. So it's not like when Harry Potter came out and we were like kids and we were like aging with them, you know? Twilight was different because we're already adults, and like it's weird to think now that like I was crushing on Jacob, who was a child.
A child.
That was a child. And I even in my brain was like, this doesn't feel correct. So I'm gonna keep it to myself. But watching the movies back is kind of like I'm watching children. But what are your feelings?
So we were just watching in preparation. We also had been watching, I guess it's just like coincidence. We had started watching Twilight probably about 2 weeks ago. because my older daughter really wanted to watch it. She was like, let's just watch the whole thing straight
Oh.
through. And then, like we can only really watch it after the youngest goes to bed. But we finished watching Breaking Dawn Part 2 last night, and I also just kind of went through like a hard bit of nostalgia because I remember buying Twilight. I used to go to Target when when I was before I turned 20.
Mm-hmm.
When I wasn't working, I guess is a better way to describe it. I would go to Target just to like kill time or whatever. And I remember picking up Twilight off of like the bookshelf, and I was like, well, it's 15% off. Like,
Yeah.
this might be a good read.
The
And I
little
just
apple.
remember that it was like the paperback copy with the picture of like RP and Kristen
Mm.
Stewart like on the front of it. And I was like, this looks interesting. And I like flipped it over and I was like, oh, this could be good. And I just remember like inhaling the books.
There's such a quick read if you are going through them.
Mhm.
They really are.
Yeah. Also, key point, if you have like the Disney plus Hulu bundle or Hulu, they have all the films on there
Yeah.
right now too.
Makes it easy. Except I have the extended edition
Yeah.
Blu-rays.
Do you have the Blu-ray set? Do you have the special edition Blu-ray set in the
Mm-hmm.
box?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
In the
I
box.
almost drug that out of storage so that I could be like,
Yeah.
look at this.
They're all sitting in front of the TV over there. But yeah, Twilight for me was definitely something to suck me right into, so to
Yeah.
speak. I've always loved vampires.
Yes.
I did watch Blade as a child,
Oh, I
which
was more of an
like
interview with a vampire kind of gal, but
yeah, but
I did like
it
Blade.
there's something about Wesley Snipes that I just does it for me. However, going into it feeling like, oh, it's going to be like dark and dreary. Like there are points of like the Twilight, especially the books, that it's like lighthearted and kind of like fun.
Mhm.
Not as serious, I guess. So it was like a nice take for me of like I can enjoy vampire lore and it's not so like horror, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think that it became so much of like a cult classic or like a campy
Mm-hmm.
classic. Because it really did break a lot of like the stereotypes of a vampire. Like the vampires within Stephanie Meyer's like trope or canon was they could go outside. They didn't like burn up immediately.
Right.
Garlic didn't affect them. Like, yeah, they still drank blood, but like their skin was like marble as it was described. Like, so I liked that aspect because any vampire book that I had read prior to that, it was like they have to stay inside. They
Yeah.
can't go out during
They
the
live in a
day. Like
coffin.
everything happens at night. Yeah, they live in a coffin. Like, um, and so it was something very new. And I had spent a lot of time reading, like, I like that magical kind of
Yeah.
like mystical type of book style anyways. And so I had read like witch stuff and werewolf stuff and wizard stuff,
Yeah.
but this was the first like vampire read that I was like, oh, it's kind of like I mean, like it is a romance, but
Right.
it was more what felt like my age and more like relatable
Yeah.
than like a fantasy type of thing.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't know, the Twilight series or saga, it's a series of romantic vampire fantasy books as well as films, written by Stephanie Meyer. We'll talk about Stephanie Meyer and her Mormonism because she's Mormon.
Very much so. Very much so.
This series, all 5 films. So the first one is Twilight. The second one is New Moon. We have Eclipse, Breaking Dawn Part 1, and Breaking Dawn Part 2 have all grossed over $3.36 billion with a B worldwide. The first movie came out in 2008. The second movie came out in 2009. Subsequently, third one came out in 2010. Next one came out in 2011 and 2012. So they typically came out near this time, the Hoa 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 season, in the beginning. I was seeing if I could find like a rendition of the song that wouldn't copyright us, but alas. But let me tell you, because I lived in New York at the time, I didn't see the Twilight movie, like the first Twilight movie, like opening night, but every other one after that I did.
Mm-hmm.
The theater that we were at, there were so many theaters dedicated to just Twilight movies that they had like a Thursday evening 11:59 showing, and then a midnight showing, then a midnight 01, then a midnight 02, and a midnight 03. So it's like I would like one ticket to the 12:03 a.m.
Yeah.
Like
they don't do that anymore.
Separated. I know they don't really do those kinds of things anymore, but it was like that's how they differentiated the different auditoriums for each of them. They always had some sort of cardboard cutout, always had some sort of themed like bucket of popcorn or some sort of like vampire special. And when it starts getting to the Breaking Dawn part, then you actually get like little caricatures or little like souvenir takeaway things. But it was like, for me, it's kind of like we've gone through like other series like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, but this felt very commercialized in my opinion, that they were like, oh, we have a fan base of mostly girls who have money to spend to buy all these things. So we're going to make them readily available. Blankets, hats, jackets, shirts. Oh, you want the jacket that Bella has? Oh, here's all these shirts at Hot Topic. Like there were
Hot Topic was a big one.
Many things. And it really took everything by storm. But while so first off, the series had been in development since before the first book was finished. That started by Paramount Pictures by MTV, which is very interesting because MTV loved when the movie came out to shit on Twilight.
Oh, totally.
I digress. But it was 3 years later, Summit Entertainment, which is who had the movies for the rest of the time. They were unsure and they put all of their money into these movies. However, the original Twilight grossed $35.7 million on its opening day, thus solidifying the cult classic that we know now. But again, like I mentioned, the critical reception of the films were very mixed, and it was very trendy to shit on, obviously, things that women like because the patriarchy. Yeah. While the New York press critic Armand White, which I found, called it a genuine pop classic and praised it, USA Today gave the film 2 out of 4 stars saying that Meyer is said to have been involved in the production of Twilight, but her novel was subsequently more absorbing than the unintentional, funny, and quickly forgettable film. Imagine saying that about this.
So as your resident like book obsessor, I agree with this specific comment because I also I re-listened to Twilight,
Yeah.
and I've like just listened to it on YouTube. Someone had read the book, and it was like the audio version. And there are so many key details that were not
Completely.
involved. And I could
Right.
almost guarantee that it falls the same with New Moon, Eclipse,
Ab-
Breaking Dawn 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
That there are so many key details of different things that either they changed for the movie or they just didn't include at all, that were like
Mm-hmm.
really key pieces. For example, there's a part in the book where um where in their biology class they
Mm-hmm.
have to do like a blood test to determine what their blood type is.
Mm-hmm.
And Edward's like, Bella, I'm skipping school. And she was like, I don't like to lie, I'm not skipping school. And he's like, well, I'm just gonna skip today, you want to skip with me? And she's like, no, I'm fine. And then she ends up like
Which is a very
getting,
relatable thing in high
yeah,
school.
right. And she gets queasy
Mm-hmm.
because the sight of blood makes her nauseous, which they don't say at all in
They
any of
don't
the
say at all
films.
in any of the films, and yet
No.
as the books go on,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
You're just like, you fall in love with a vampire, he drinks blood, like, and blood makes
Yeah.
you queasy. Doesn't that like, isn't that a thing? But so I mean, like, there, and then he leads in these like very small like hints about how he can, like, he knows what people are thinking, but they don't. I mean, I feel like in the movie it jumps from,
Mm-hmm.
they have like one conversation, she goes to the beach, and then all of a sudden he's like, say it out loud, and she's just like, you're a vampire. And like, can we at least have some buildup here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, that I digress. I agree that there were so many more things within the books that absorbed you and like drawed you into the story
You're
that
right.
were just like misses. um I will say that did not stop me from rewatching that movie obsessively over and
Absolutely.
over again.
Mm-hmm.
And it also became, in my early 20s, it became the movie that like I fell asleep to.
Yeah, same.
I liked that the movie was set with that like bluish, greenish, foggy-ish tint. It was very soothing.
Because it's very
Um,
reminiscent of our home,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So,
So that
um,
was my hot take for a second.
I started rereading the first novel, but I have on deck 3 other books that I've been trying to finish since October, and that's just been my brain lately.
Yeah. Yep.
And I want to finish it again, but I don't have the time like other
Yeah.
people do to
I
manage
do not.
everything.
I
Um,
love people that can read and like
mhm,
dedicate time to reading. If I can't have it in like an audio format and listen
mhm.
to it whilst I'm doing whatever else I'm doing, I just can't read. I bought 2 books because I was like, I have to read these books by this author, and they've just sat like in the same spot because like
Yeah.
your girl doesn't have time to sit down and read. I wish I did because that would be cool, but give me that audiobook.
Yeah, give me that audiobook. But speaking of parodies, there was a parody of Twilight called
There
Vampires
was.
Suck, starring a bunch of people that I don't really know. But it was largely based on Twilight and the sequel. Obviously, vampires suck. Though the film was a critical failure, it called it online, with Rotten Tomatoes critically giving it a 4%. It was a financial success because, again, people love shitting on things that young girls and women like. Opening number one in the United States and grossing more than $80 million on a parody film.
That's so crazy.
Absolutely crazy. The budget of that movie was 20 million. And it was, which is, it's hilarious. There have been other parody films on here that have been like more straight to DVD. There have been plenty of, if it exists, it's a porn type thing. But honestly, what great form of flattery, you know?
But I mean, I do have to say, because like when we grew up, like the only vampire show that like I really knew about when I was younger, or that was popular, was like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy!
Oh. And like
Yeah.
that one was great. I love David Boreanaz. Like, give me that Crystal
Absolutely.
King.
Stunning, gorgeous.
Later on, Seeley Booth, even though he was very problematic, but like David Boreanaz is a beautiful, beautiful man.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Twilight kind of like skyrocketed or like brought to the attention that like there are more vampire style books. I mean, we have not even just vampire books, but also like different series. So there's the Sookie Stackhouse series that turned into True Blood, which was a very popular series.
Absolutely.
My husband and I, that was one of the first series that him and yes.
Yeah.
That was like the first series that him and I like watched from start to finish. It is a very different take than
very rated R. Very
rated R.
Kids
HBO,
shouldn't watch this.
Yeah, no. But then also the CW picked up on it too, and they had Vampire Diaries, which is very relatable to the Twilight series in that same like love triangle type. Mind you, it was like brothers, but like brothers and a girl, not
but
brothers
like that
together.
that's also a common thing on the CW because they also have One Tree Hill, which very love triangle. So having a love triangle and then having it vampires and it being successful.
In like a small town where like, and then there was also the werewolf aspect of it. There was a witch aspect of it, which Twilight didn't do like witchy stuff, but they did, I mean, like obviously werewolf stuff. And it became a very popular, very, very popular series. So I do feel like in a way, like Twilight opened the door to a lot of this, like a lot of these different series. Mind you, I'm like, I don't know the dates on True Blood, but I do know that like Twilight did open in a way, like opened a lot of doors or created a lot of pathways.
And I think that also seeing shows like Supernatural and knowing that like, yeah, Buffy and Angel, and having that be the forefathers, I guess, of TV and pop culture, really snowballing into all of this, really cultivating that we are interested in the supernatural stuff. We are still interested in witches. We are still interested in Twilight. We are still interested in vampires and ghosts and goblins and werewolves and all the things. And having it relate to teenagers and what they're going through and the aspects of adolescence, and it popularized that like ordinary girl in a love triangle. Sometimes they're kind of pick me, but the vampire themed media, and it really consumed that time. And I remember at Barnes and Noble, there was a whole table that was like Twilight, but it was like a
Like
whole bunch of
Twilight.
like Twilight, and it's a whole bunch of books that are of the same nature, but more lore. And it really sparked that young adult literature trend.
Mm-hmm.
But the fan culture in it
Yeah.
itself, because, and that's one thing that you should tell your daughter, because that's one thing that when my niece was into, as she had mentioned, what was it like? What was it like back in the olden days with Twilight? Because it really was a culture
Mm-hmm.
phenomenon. Like SNL was parodying it, like people were talking about it in music videos and like culture. And then remember Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson dated, and she cheated on him, and
Yeah.
the fucking future president had a vendetta. He had multiple tweets against Kristen Stewart because she
Yeah.
cheated on Robert Pattinson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think
Wild.
what was the other? Oh, I mean, I looked at all of the different collabs that
Mm-hmm.
happened for that specific, like during the franchise, and it not
Mm-hmm.
just like during Twilight, but like throughout the whole franchise. And like we had touched on Hot Topic. Hot Topic was a big one for me because it
Yeah.
was locally available. It was the most locally available thing. But I remember walking into a to a Hot Topic, and they had a giant display, like a
Mm-hmm.
huge section that was specifically designated to like Hot Topic, um like merchandise. I literally could not think of the word merchandise.
To
Twilight
the
was one of
Twilight
like,
merchandise, because that's
yeah, it
where
was one of
everybody
the
got their
licensed partners.
shirts.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so you had shirts, you had all of the family members, which all of the family members had like specific pieces of jewelry that was theirs.
Yeah.
Like Alice had a necklace, Rosalie, I believe, had like a longer necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Like Emmett or uh Edward had like a cuff, and then I think Emmett also had like one of them had a metallic bracelet. Anyways, they all had very specific things. You could get that at Hot Topic. They also did makeup collabs, Nordstrom, which like I didn't have a Nordstrom close to me during that time.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, but Nordstrom had an official like shop that was a Twilight themed shop. Um, there was a collab during New Moon with Burger King where they had like Team Edward and Team
Team,
Jacob.
I know. So some of the that I ended up dating worked at Burger King during this time.
Whoa, jealous.
And they were getting me. Well, I'm trying to remember which movie it was, but like the different rappers were different characters,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to collect them. And I
Yeah.
was like, why are we collecting rappers of
Burger wrappers.
burgers?
Burger wrappers. Um, there
Yeah.
was like Nestle had Nestle did a collab for New Moon for different candies that were like bite me
Mm.
themed, so that um they were themed around there. Different publishing companies did as well. uh like the all illustrated copies or like insides, filming. Mattel even did Twilight dolls, so you can still find them, like
I
of
had them.
Bella.
So
Bella.
this is also the thing that I'm kind of pissed off, because around this time, my parents sold my childhood home.
Mm-hmm.
And in there, not only was all my Barbies, but all of my Twilight Barbies
No.
in, and I had like
No.
some Spice Girl Barbies, like
Rage.
absolute rage
Rage.
inside of me.
Rage.
So yeah.
Whoever got those.
I also want to mention, because while I was searching through the same things that you're going through, the boutique that had that green Bella jacket.
Mm-hmm.
It was discontinued when the movie came out. However, they were receiving so many inquiries about that jacket that they started to remake at the request of the fans. Like a boutique
That's so
who completely
crazy.
discontinued a jacket, a green jacket. But also, do you remember that green jacket, that style of green jacket was everywhere?
Oh, it wasn't like an anorak style jacket, wasn't it?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have one from Torrid that is
Oh,
still in.
that pain in the ass. That thing was such a pain in the ass to hang. Sorry. That was such a pain in my butt to like hang up and
Because
sell
it's
because it was,
heavy
yeah, it's heavy.
and it was
Heavy.
expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I spent over $100 because it
Yep.
is very insulated. It is one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite jackets that I own. I need to find new buttons for it because some buttons have fallen off.
Oh no.
Um, but it's like because it's like kind of double breasted, at least the Torrid
Mm-hmm.
version. But it is that like olive color green. The inside lining is like a flannel. It has a hood. Mine had a fur hood or a fur trim, and I figured out how to remove it because it was like with the
Pain
with the
with
weather.
the weather. With the weather, why? Why would
Yeah, why
anybody?
would I do? But I
But
just remember that was like a millennial staple was skinny jeans, a graphic tee, and that green jacket.
mm-hmm.
And
I
there you
love that.
go.
I will
Um,
say that there were two other like major collabs. One
okay.
of the biggest ones was Volvo. So
The car?
in the car. So
What?
because that was the type of car that Edward drove,
Right.
was a Volvo. So he drove in the films, he drove a C30 and an XC60, which I am not a car
I don't
girly.
know
That is, I
any of
save that
those things.
specifically for my husband. But Volvo ran very specific, and I bet you could find them like on YouTube, the old commercials, but they had very Twilight themed commercials that they ran for Volvo because and they would do like that like Volvo as seen on in Twilight, like
Oh my god,
yeah,
they
stop
get these
saying
20-something-year-old girls
driving
like me to
old.
be like, "You know what? I could get a Hyundai and then my car payment is only like $270." No,
No, get that Volvo.
get that Volvo and I'll have a $600 car payment.
And then the other collab I will say, or yeah, the other one I'll say is more music based. So Atlantic Records and Chop Shop Records, they released out the soundtracks because at that time, like they
Mm,
had very they released out they released CDs.
mm,
So these soundtracks, which I would assume that you had, I had
I
all
had
of
them.
them
Mhm.
and I love them, but they had music that I mean from bands that I still love to this day, like Paramore, Muse, Christina Perri for her famous song. There was Linkin Park was on one of them.
Mhm.
There was just some really great I mean, Decode
I
will
mean,
probably always be one of the
Decode,
best.
yeah. Definitely, because there were 2 Paramore songs, because it was
Mhm.
Decode and I Caught Myself.
Oh, I
Um,
Caught Myself was such a good one. So
it's one
good.
of my favorite Paramore songs. Um, but the "Hoa, hoa, hoa, whoa, I see you in" that song is
Yes.
everywhere. But yeah, I remember that CD was in my car for a very long time. Um, it got
Supermassive Black Hole. Oh, such a good one.
absolutely. But I remembered that like the Edward Cullen. No, what's his name? Robert Pattinson
Oh,
had a
Robert
song.
Pattinson.
Lend me a
Never think.
sign.
Never think that was the song.
Here to say, I will
Ram you in my arms.
You can't understand anything.
No.
However, but I remember getting like a free iTunes download for that song. But
You love that.
I love it.
I love it.
See, that's
so
the thing.
much.
It's like there was like the score or like the music behind everything. Do 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 do. You know. But then there was a separate CD that it was just like all popular music, you know, soundtrack, like kind of things that it was like 2 different CDs. And I'm pretty sure more people probably bought the one with Muse and Paramore and Linkin Park. But those were definitely like if you were going to go on a road trip or if you were going to go somewhere, everyone had a Twilight album in their car.
I listened to it so much that I think all of those songs are like ingrained like in my brain matter that they just live there for so long. And it's probably super annoying to my family or anybody that like gets into a car with me and like this song will come on and I'm like, oh, I know all the words.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how do you have like you were just silent a second ago and now you're just gonna start singing I see you then. Yeah. Yeah, crazy sauce.
Absolutely. But for those who don't know anything that we are talking about, and you've gotten this far, there are 3 main characters, right? That's all you need to know. Bella Swan, who is the protagonist of the series, a real pick-me girl, ordinary girl, has low self-esteem, and she ends up falling in love with the vampire, Edward Cullen. He is part of the Cullen coven, so to speak. And they all reside in Forks, Washington. Jacob Black is there. He's a minor character in the first novel, but as the saga progresses, he's a part of the Quileute tribe, which also I kind of get a little bit pissed. Of how they treated the Quileute tribe. He does resurface in New Moon. He has a larger role as Bella's best friend, turned possible love interest, imprints on Bella's and Edward's baby. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn. 4 books, 4 very different things, 4 different themes. But it is to note that the literature inspiration for all 4 of these books are based on other pieces of literature, and I'm going to tell you them. Twilight is based on Jane Austen's 1813 novel, Pride and Prejudice.
Such a classic. So good. That's that's like my most favorite book of all time. Side note.
Okay. It done piss me off is Pride and Prejudice. It pisses me off. Okay.
It makes me so mad, but I also really love it. And then just like the remake with Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Such a perfect piece. Anyways, really sorry.
New Moon is based on Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet, where Jacob does come in, but Edward leaves and Bella basically goes through a depressive spell. And then the way that she has seen Edward is by confronting death or basically being an adrenaline junkie. And then she's presumed dead. So Edward goes, you know what? I'm gonna end it all, and tries to kill himself. So that's what that one's based off of. Eclipse is Emily Bronte's 1847 novel of Wuthering Heights, which had to read that in high
Also,
school. Very good book.
lovely.
And then Breaking Dawn is based on another Shakespeare play called A Midnight Summer's Dream, which is my favorite Shakespeare novel of all time, or novel play. What am I saying?
It's
It's one of
such
my
a good
favorite.
one too.
And if you ever get the opportunity to go see a Shakespeare play, how during the summertime they do like Shakespeare in the Park or whatever on YouTube, go watch it. Go enjoy it. They are meant to be consumed and enjoyed. And after all this time, enjoy a Shakespeare more than just Romeo and Juliet. But I digress. Um, shall we talk about Mormonism in the novel first, or the impact these films had for Forks, Washington?
So, I mean, we could get the Mormonism right on out of the
So Stephanie Meyer is
way.
Mormon. How can you tell if you don't know what Mormonism is? You can use Google. It's the it's an adrenaline
And
rush.
for anybody that might get triggered by that, you can also call them, they would prefer to be called LDS, Latter-day Saints, at this point, because Mormonism is derogatory. But
had no idea.
Yes. So Mormonism has a negative connotation now, due to just like stereotypes of Mormons being polygamist, and they're trying to stray away from the cult-like
because they're
attributes of
different,
their religion.
right? The LDS, and then there's the more extreme.
Yeah, so there's the Latter-day Saints, which are your like traditional Mormons, and then there's I can't remember what they are, but the ones that are like not polyamorous, Jesus Christ. Polygamist, yeah.
Polygamous,
so they all follow the same like Bible structure, but if you dive into last podcast on the left did a really good series
podcast on the left. I love that one.
But anyways, I could talk about this for a minute.
But Stephanie Meyer has in other interviews acknowledged that her faith has influenced a lot of her work. She says that her characters tend to think more about where they came from and where they're going, which is a typical LDS, Latter-day Saints way of thinking. The Twilight series analyzes a lot of Christian moral dilemmas of moral temptation, which is often talked about. But Stephanie Meyer also said that the idea of Twilight came from her dream in 2003. So I just read that. But in her dream, the dream was about a human girl and a vampire who was in love with her, but thirsted for her blood. Based on the dream, Stephanie Meyer wrote the transcript, which is now chapter 13 of Twilight. So if you want to go read that, that's kind of fun. After I found that out. But a lot of themes in the books are about temptations and how it can corrupt oneself. Overcoming the temptations illustrates a common Mormon principle of overcoming the nature of man, i.e., the vampires that we are seeing, the Cullens, they resist the temptation, the nature, so to speak, of killing humans because they see that as morally bad. So thus they eat animals, just like humans eat animals, but they blood.
Not meat.
Cougars and deers see highlighted in the first book. But it is that overcoming of nature of oneself. Mormon tenets of immoral and eternal life are also explored in the series.
Yes.
I remember in the first book, a lot of things that Edward was saying was like, well, I'm going to hell. I'm already like, I'm a vampire. I'm already going to hell. And that's like a huge thing that the movies do not talk about, is how vampires typically are damned forever. They are immortal beings damned to hell.
I will say that there are a lot of preconceived or perceived, not preconceived, but perceived like LDS or slash Mormon values that are within these specific stories, particularly around the belief of your eternal family. So a
Yeah.
very strong belief within the LDS faith belief system is that you are sealed with your family in the temple forever. So when you pass on, you have your own space that like you and your family will eventually meet up with, and you will be with your family sealed together. And it's a very serious and very like secretive ritual ceremony, and that's a very strong thing within that culture. I mean, that religion. I know from firsthand, I have family that are of LDS, and they are very serious about like being sealed together and following like that
Interesting.
that
Because if you get divorced, you are basically excommunicated from the Mormon Church. Which
you can. So yeah, so
imagine,
basically like
imagine it's like,
not,
hey, your
not to
husband
go
cheats
like
on
hard.
you, and
Yeah,
you're like, okay,
not to go like hard into it, but like my one of my family members, her and her husband, her and her first husband were married in the church, and
okay,
um they got a divorce many years ago, and she was remarried, but I don't know like the details of how that works or how her religion works, but I've heard from like other family members who were married into the faith and then followed the faith a little bit as they were married to said person and then got divorced. Like, you get cut hard from that community because you are essentially like looked at as a flaw, or like you didn't believe enough, or you didn't repent enough, or you
yeah,
didn't do something enough. And it for me, it's a hot button take for me. I just don't really vibe to it. But there was I mean, if you really look at like the books and even in the movies, there are a lot of like Christian based or LDS based beliefs that held very true, like
yeah.
abstinence, saving
Oh,
yourself for marriage.
that's a huge part of the second part over here, is that the topic of sex is definitely touched upon in this series. That is not of the Mormon way. I mean, we joke all the time about soaking, right? Or
Mhm.
or if you don't know what soaking is, please go Google it, because it's actually real. That they really do it, and there's someone who stands on the bed and shakes it and does all that for you.
No, thank
Um,
you.
but Stephanie Meyer says that she does not consciously intend for her novels to be Mormon influenced. However, there is that whole theme of abstinence the entire time, where Bella wants to give it all. Like, I want to give you everything.
Yeah. Take
And
it.
Edward's like, no, we can't. No, we can't. No, we can't.
No.
No, we can't. And then they get to Breaking Dawn, and they finally, and that's when they like completely piss me off. They like destroy the bed. They, get kind of violent with it, which is a
Again,
little,
it's better in the book.
yeah.
It's better in the book.
Not in the movie is a little funny. Like, it's funny.
Okay, so like if we're going to touch on that if we're going to touch on that for just 1 second.
Yeah.
That whole part of that movie made me so irritated. So like if you haven't read the book but you've only seen the films, which like I have to explain this to Brian quite often because he's never read the books, he's only seen the films.
Sure.
One of the biggest takeaways that they really failed on when it came to the movies is that both Edward and Bella have so much internal monologue
Mm-hmm.
that you lose out on so much stuff. So like that whole part where they will like finally were able to like get it in and have their like bed breaking moment.
And they like
Bella's
go
like
in the water.
internalizing. Yeah. Like she's internalizing all of these thoughts of like, oh God, like I must really suck. Like he's got all this experience. He's old as hell. Like he's seen all these things. Like he's done all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm just like this sad 17 or 18-year-old girl who like has never done anything. Like he must think that I'm such a loser. And then he's the one over there that's like, oh my God, I'm about to kill her. Like I'm about to break her bones, you know, like, but nobody can pick up on that in the films because
Because they're just
like,
looking at each other awkwardly.
yeah, like,
And I do have to say, like, because I can't relate to like people when they're finally married of finally having sex. Like,
no,
that's not something that I did. I did not save myself for marriage. I've had quite a number of partners that I hate admitting on my part.
You just need to try. Gotta try it out.
But it is that like awkward unsureness of like the first time that you become one, you know, so to speak. That it's like you love this person so much and you now are like legally bound to this person. Thus, like,
oh God, could you imagine?
I could never do that.
I could
But
never.
that is like
I could never.
part of the Mormon culture, like a lot of religions, that they abstain from sex, and that is a huge piece of morality for them. That if they do not remain virgins on their wedding night, that it is a moral failure, which I cannot relate to at all.
I cannot. I can't.
But that is a huge tone, especially from eclipse, new moon, and I mean they kind of touch on it in Twilight, but not really. But it's so crazy to me thinking that like Stephanie Meyer was like, yeah, I don't think and like much of the books are influenced. I just think that like some themes, and it's like literally all of this, all of
of
like,
it.
The morality aspect that is like.
And I'll just take a little side part because we don't have to really go into it at all because I really want to hear about Forks. Because like I'll gladly admit I've never been there. I want to go, but I've never been there.
What?
Yeah. But side note before we move on, that the book series, like the 50 Shades of Grey series, was based, like it was written with Twilight in mind. So like it's essentially Twilight fan fiction.
That's weird because I've read that and it's like, but I've also I prefer the movies to 50 Shades because I personally do not think that the 50 Shades books are very legible.
I laughed a lot.
It's stupid, dumb.
Because it's like, so dumb. I just like kiki the whole time, like a silly little child.
I felt like I was reading Reddit, by the way. Like the movies are so much better. Anyways, but
yeah, I have never been to Forks. I will say I am a full Washingtonian of my whole life, and I've never been.
Okay, so that just means that we're gonna get in the car and we're gonna go. You can bring your children, and we should just do it. We should just go.
I mean, my older one has been, but my younger one has not, and I don't really think that she would care.
It's just kind of fun. So for those who don't know, at Washington State, right? It's at the all the way corner, right? So Forks, Washington, as you can see, got this over Forks. So it's Forks, Washington. It is a town of maybe 8,000 ish, maybe more, maybe less. But it's a logging town. It was always a logging town, and the economic turmoil of the recession killed everything. People were starting to move out. People were leaving Forks. However, the Twilight series hit, and it improved the town's economic value due to the tourism based on those books. Forks is visited by an average of 8,000 tourists per month and has been described as the Mecca of Twilighters.
So crazy. Yeah, Forks's estimated population for 2025 was 3,448.
So much less than this source that ruined everything. So because of this, in response to plans for the aging Forks High School to be renovated, Twilight fans teamed up with Infinite Jewelry Company and West Olympic Peninsula Betterment Association to collect donations in an attempt to save the brick appearance and the building altogether, which is kind of crazy that this little logging town has turned into such a mecca. So I have gone as recently as last spring. I took my sister-in-law and we went, and I think she was, because she's from the Midwest, so she was impressed by how long it took to get there. She loved the ferry to get there. But she was like, are we there yet? Like, we just hit Port Angeles. And I'm like, we're not there yet. We still have like an hour and a half. And it is really like, it's not a highway to get there. You are literally driving through the Olympic Mountains.
I think that's why we haven't gone, is because it is like it is a journey to get there from where we are. And it's like, there's the freeways, there's the ferry, there's a crazy country road. And like,
some of it is like off of a cliff. Like if you are going faster than 35 miles an hour, like, and there's all these giant logging trucks too. So it has been called also one of the rainiest cities in the United States. Much rain accumulates per year. I'm trying to find where. Sorry, I had it and then it left. Okay, that's not where it was supposed to be. How much rain, Forks, Washington? Okay.
Which is so funny because, like, just as while you're looking that up, most of the film wasn't even filmed in Forks. It was filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah, I know. It was mostly filmed in Vancouver. Did you know that? Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah.
And then
Vancouver, BC.
The houses, so the Twilight house and the high school are actually in Oregon.
Yeah, Kalama. In Kalama. Kalama High School is where the exterior shots. Kalama. Even like, it's so crazy to me that all of the only things that were actually filmed in Forks were all of the La Push scenes.
It's La Push.
And then the Swan house, like Bella Swan's house. It's La Push.
Well, the first,
baby.
The first one is. Anyways.
But so even the Cullen house wasn't in Forks. It was in Vancouver.
Which is, it's stunning, beautiful, absolutely. But Forks, Washington receives an average of about 120 inches of rain per year. That's about 10 feet of rain per year. That is a lot of rain. Nice. So when we went in the springtime, guess what? It rained. Which was kind of fun to take pictures outside because it was raining. But I'm going to tell you, from the bank to the convenience store to the church, Forks residents stop here. Here's a map of all the different Forks Twilight things. We went to the little visitor center. I talked to this lady for an hour about all the Twilight and how Twilight has completely changed her life and the town itself. A lot of people were going to foreclose on their homes, and Twilight revived. And it is because Festival has come to town. So this is from their website. Whether you've been coming for years or are a newborn, gather along with your fandom family in Forks, Washington from September 10th to September 13th, which, by the way, it's when Bella Swan's birthday is. That's how they... So come celebrate Bella Swan's birthday. Eat, sleep, and breathe your obsession. We are looking forward to celebrating 15-year anniversary of Breaking Dawn Part 1 for this immersive experience. So if you want to go to the Twilight Festival this year, they have people from the Twilight franchise going to be there. So Jackson Rathbone is going to be there, and Ashley Greene are going to be there this year.
Fancy.
So I think we should go.
That sounds lovely.
But it is like a full festival. They shut down part of the street. It's like kind of carnival experience. They have a lot of crafters. They have a lot of merchandise stuff, and of course, you get to meet and greet with the Twilight people. But guess what? Where do people sleep? Like, do people just like go, okay, I own a house in Forks, I'm just going to rent it Airbnb style? Because I don't think that they have a hotel. Like, maybe they might have a bed and breakfast or something, but that it's not like a commercial area. I don't think that they even have like a Starbucks or like a McDonald's. There's nothing out there. Again, logging town. They're like, they have a diner. Like, it's crazy. But honestly, the Twilight series changed my life. In 2020, the series was shelved in the Library of Congress for preservation. In 2019, BBC listed the Twilight series as one of the most influential novels. There's about 100 of them. But it really like has immersed into millennial culture that we know today. So yeah.
It really does. Like I remember it not really being a thing. And I was just like, oh, I absolutely love this. And then boom, it became such a big thing. I remember, like you had mentioned earlier, going to like midnight showings of the films. There's a specific, like, it's so stupid. There's a specific part in in Twilight where like Charlie Swan, Bella's dad, is like, oh yeah, I chased them. You know, they're headed down to Mason County. I'm going to call the Kitsap County sheriff. And I was like, woo! That's me.
Every time he says that in the Twilight movie, I was waiting.
Yeah, I was waiting. But I mean, like, there's so many silly, ridiculous things. Like, we could probably talk about this for forever. Like,
we could. We've been talking about it for an hour now.
I mean, like in Breaking Dawn Part 2, there's this whole scene again that is just so good in the books, but in the movie, it's really good too. But there's a fight scene that was like this vampire war.
Oh my God.
And then you find out after this giant scene, and you're sitting there crying because like all of these characters that you've like grown to love from three movies, and then you've met all of these really great ones, like you come to find out that it's a root, like, oh, Alice's powers.
Right. So the Volturi and the Cullen and everyone is like, arguing because this baby was created, right? They think that it
Mm-hmm.
is an immoral baby. Then they come to find out that she is half human,
Vampire.
half
Yep.
vampire. And then all of a sudden the Volturi goes, just kidding. We don't care. We're going to kill you. And they take Carlisle, throw him out, and then
Mm-hmm.
they lift the head.
Oh, in
And
the head.
I tell
What?
you, yeah, I tell you, everybody in the
Screamed.
theater screamed because guess
Roared.
what? That's not in the book.
Mm-mm.
It's not in the book. So everybody up to this point, for the most part, the books have been very on tune with the movies. The moment that happened, everybody stood up in the theater. What? Ah! The screams. It is registered in, like, I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember the screams that were scrumped. November 18th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I'll remember that forever. November
Scream.
16th,
And
2012.
I will say that, like, again, my Brian has never read the books. He's only seen the films. And so for him to follow along to this and then to see that pivotal moment of just like what is a good, like, like, it's like a juke move, like, like, just
Yeah.
gotcha,
Mhm.
like, we gotcha. But it was such a point where you were like, oh my God, like, is this really happening? Like, you've
Mhm.
watched all of these characters and now they're breaking out into this like crazy battle. The Volturi is trying, and mind you, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, you probably don't understand what we're saying. But the Volturi is like this ancient royal vampire family that lives in Italy, and they do some crazy stuff, and they're all hell old, and one of them really wants to die, and one of them looks like kind of a weird blonde child, and then the other one has like
Yeah.
a ridiculous laugh that it just kind of like goes a little crazy. But they
Mhm.
they collect different vampires to be in their clan, and they all have crazy magic powers. So you've got Dakota Fanning is in there, of like all things.
Yeah.
And Dakota Fanning is Jane, and Jane has powers, and her brother has powers. There's other vampires that are in there too, and they all have these crazy powers because the vampires within this series are all built like marble stone. That's a big thing too. I mean, there's just so many bits and bobs that are in here that are so crazy. And then you see this whole battle. Rami Malek just shows
Yeah.
up in Breaking Dawn Part 2 as Benjamin. Like,
He can control
you've
water.
got he can control earth, like everything.
Mhm.
And he's like super powerful, but they're like
All the
hiding him
elements. Yeah,
away.
yeah.
He like that moment where he just like slams into the
Yeah.
ground.
Mhm.
Oh, I it's so fresh in my mind. And then there's the Romanians that come in, and
Mhm.
I can't remember their names, but one of the Romanians, he played in Shameless, and he played Mickey in Shameless. And I just think about his like Eastern European accent, and I'm like, maybe this is where I picked this up from. Like, I just randomly will just start talking in a
Yeah.
weird
Yeah,
Eastern
it comes
European accent.
exactly from that.
But I mean, there's so
Ugh.
many like really cute little, like, I don't want to say cute, but there's so many fun little bits that, again, like, I think because they didn't want to make it like a 4-hour long movie,
They could
there's
have.
just and there could have, um, that they could have just added in. I will say, if we're talking about like filming locations, um, just briefly, there's a scene in Breaking Dawn Part 2 after Bella obviously turns into a vampire, where they take a quick little stroll to their new cottage home that's on the Cullen property. And last night we had looked it up, and it's like a full 40-minute drive, or 40 miles away
Yeah,
from
they
where
just
like the
just
Cullen house is.
yeah, they just walk there.
And it was a full prop piece that they put up for the film, and then shot their couple of shots, and then it was gone. Like, it's not an actual house, which I know is common in film, so it not a big deal. But they like made it seem like the Cullens live on this giant piece of property, because in the books that's what happens, is this cottage just poof shows up.
Honestly,
and that's where Edward and Bella live forever.
I like it. Shall we go to our hashtag Ask a Millennial?
Yes, please.
I have 3, so if we
Okay.
have time for them, I don't know. I will read
I
the
can make
first
time
one.
for you.
And what?
I can make time for you.
Oh, for me. But yeah, let's do some
Yes, let's
Ask a
read.
Millennial. Yeah, I'll do the first one and you can read the second one. So
Yes.
all right. So the first one comes from Am I the Asshole on Reddit. Am I the asshole for making fun of my girlfriend for writing fan fiction and claiming it's actual writing? All right.
Yes. Immediately, yes.
Immediately,
Please
yes.
read on. I would like to listen.
All right. My girlfriend, Abby, female 31, so 31 years old, and I, male 33, have been together for a few months. And this Easter, I was going to introduce her to my family. We haven't moved in together yet. Abby is quite smart. She has a PhD and works in her field. I only have a bachelor's degree, so BA. So you can imagine my surprise when hot smart woman wanted to date me. Anyways, I digress. Abby's passion is writing, although she never allowed me to read anything she wrote. That's incorrectly worded, but anyways, she dreams of writing a book.
This person has
and
a
says,
bachelor's, and this.
yeah.
Sorry, no judgment, I guess.
She dreams of writing a book and says she's practicing and trying to draft things. One day, I was staying over and fell asleep, and she went to her office to write. When I woke up, I peered over her shoulder when she was writing and saw names that sounded familiar. I asked her about this, and sure enough, she admitted to writing fan fiction. Apparently, she already wrote 100K fan fiction and is working on her third one. She says it's writing practice and she loves it. I told her it's cringy, and if she was serious about her book, she'd write it by now because she's pretty much already wrote 2 books. If only they weren't fan fiction. She got silent and told me to leave her alone. When I introduced her to my family, I mentioned that she has a PhD. My brother and sister got impressed and asked about it. Abby tried to tell them, but I interjected and told them to not be so impressed because she wastes her time writing silly fan fiction. So I don't know how she even got her doctorate. It was meant to be a joke, but Abby was angry. She called me an asshole. She wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day and asked me to drive her home. I tried to come in, but she told me she wanted to be alone and write her fan fiction. I told her she was childish and left anyway. I haven't heard back from her since then, and I told my sister, and my sister agreed with Abby. I tried to call Abby, but she texted me with asshole and nothing else. My sister thinks I owe Abby an apology, but I don't think I did anything wrong. Yeah, Abby is annoyed. Was I really an asshole here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. If I
I'm
had my
you.
red flag picture, I would put it up again today.
I'm going to tell you, fan fiction is hard to write because you are writing for characters that already exist. And you're creating storylines that don't already exist in different space-time continuums. And you are really like, it is a great writing prompt. I love doing this. I used to write gay fan fiction all the time for for Harry Potter.
As a Hermione follower, I read quite a bit, and I'm also a Raylo fan fiction reader. So if you don't know what that is, it's Kylo Ren and Rey. Because Kylo is daddy. So there's that. But it is very hard because
jealous.
He what?
Doesn't this read like he's jealous of her because she has a PhD?
Yes. No, it reads very like I am so great, and she just writes fan fiction. But in reality, she is a successful, smart, creative person who knows what she wants to do and has found something that provides her with a creative release. She doesn't need to publish. And most of the time when you have to publish like your books or your fan fiction, you have to completely rewrite your entire story because
Mhm.
a lot of those things are trademarked or copyrighted and you can't copy it. So like we'll use like Senlin Yu as an example. She's writes Hermione fan fiction. She wrote a book called Manacled recent well, not recently. She wrote a book called Manacled and had to rewrite the entire thing because someone wanted to publish it. And now it is a published book called Alchemized. And she
Mhm.
had to remove any aspect of like the Harry Potter canon from the Harry Potter series of anything like Draco or Hermione based and turn it into entirely new characters. Many people have gotten published. There's a book called Rose in Chains that was. I recently read another story by an author named Allie Hazelwood, who wrote Raylo fan fiction.
Oh,
Anyway, but
yeah.
so I mean, they have to completely rewrite their story. So if she likes writing her fan fiction and posting it on AO3 or Wattpad or whatever, let her do it. Yeah, he is an asshole, and I hope to hell that this girl, this woman, uh, broke up with this stupid dick.
I don't see any updates, but definitely there's been so many successful books out there, series that started as fan fiction.
Mhm.
So I brought this up because Twilight fan fiction was 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
There have been so many other fan fictions that have become other vampire. I can't think of the specific series, but it went on to win like a bunch of awards. And to minimize your partner's achievements by devaluing their accomplishments is like, buddy, you are so insecure. This is like I don't I know that it's like not PC or whatever, but it's like this is like small dick energy. This is like,
Yeah.
oh,
100.
you aren't the smartest person in the room, so you have to devalue the like someone who has accomplished something that you clearly can't.
Mhm.
And when this said this, what is it? Imagine my surprise when a hot and smart
That
woman wanted to date me. Ugh! Yeah, imagine a hot and smart woman wanted to date you. After this, you sleep on the
yeah.
streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is
Yeah.
basement behavior.
Yuck.
So
Yuck.
wasting her time writing silly fan fiction. That's I don't know how she got her doctorate. Like, what have you done? Created a Reddit account?
Yuck. Yes.
So
YTAs, I agree. You are the
yeah,
asshole in this
definitely
situation.
the
And
asshole.
it's what's irritating to me is that he didn't see that he felt like he needed to apologize
I
after
know.
he to his family about her. Could you imagine going to a person that you were dating's house to be like, "Oh my gosh, I've heard so many great things about you as, as as being my partner's sister or mom or whatever," and then he looks at and he's like, "I don't even know how she got a doctorate because she just spends all of her free time writing fan fiction." That's like saying like, "Oh, I don't know how they have a job when all they do is play Call of Duty all day long.
Right. Then it's like,
They like to play Pokemon. Ugh, how lame." Like, I love Pokemon. It is not lame. It is cool.
and I love that this woman is like, and they're in their 30s. It's not like they're like
Yeah.
young. I mean, they are young, but like she clearly is like, I'm gonna go home and unwind by doing the thing that you just tried to devalue.
She could be doing
Absolutely.
drugs. And I don't even mean legal ones. Like, she could be doing drugs. Like, that
Oh
could be
my
her
god.
release.
Natalie, that is
I'm
so funny.
but I'm being serious. She
Ugh.
wants to write fan fiction. Let her write
Right,
her
let her
fan
do it.
fiction. She doesn't
Absolutely.
again, she could be doing crazy stuff. Anyways,
Yeah.
we
So
have one more. You want to have one more?
okay. Yeah, you do it.
All right. Am I the asshole for not inviting my friend 25 female to an event with the rest of my friends?
Mm.
So it says, I, 24 female, am a big Twilight fan, as most of my friends, except for one, 25 female, who I've known since high school. A Twilight event was announced in my city, and I reposted the post. A few of my friends, who are also fans, reached out asking to go. Since everyone gets along well, I asked if they'd be okay going as a group. They agreed, and we got our tickets, and I made a post saying I was excited to go with them. Shortly after, the friend who doesn't like Twilight DM'd me saying, "Damn, I didn't know y'all were going to go. Thanks for the invite." She followed up with a long message about how our friendship doesn't feel the same anymore, how she feels like she's just there when she hangs out with us, and that I don't divide my attention evenly when we're in groups. She said that she didn't feel included.
Hmm.
Honestly, I didn't think that she'd be interested. She's openly said that she doesn't like Twilight. I think I should be able to hang out with different friends without it being a problem. Context. She's socially awkward and I'm her closest, maybe only friend. When she hangs out with the group, she mostly keeps to herself and clings to her boyfriend. But on social media, she acts like she's fishing for invites to things she wasn't included in. She often buys tickets to something and adds herself to our plans. I tried to be honest. I told her I felt like she only talks to me and not the rest of the group, which makes it harder for her to feel included. Me doing things with others isn't a rejection of her. She responded by saying that it hurts that she's the only one not invited, and even though she doesn't like Twilight, she still wanted to be included. I explained that our personal dynamic has changed. It's hard to maintain a conversation with her because her responses are minimal and we don't have as much in common anymore. Instead of comparing friendships, we could have tried finding new shared interests. She ultimately ended the conversation saying that she didn't want to explain her feelings anymore, and we haven't talked since.
Ugh.
I do feel bad if she was genuinely hurt, but I also feel like she's too emotionally dependent on me, and if she can't see how her behavior is affecting others, she may need to step away from the friendship. Am I the asshole for not inviting her? Um,
Okay,
yeah,
I've been this friend on both
yeah.
sides. And my instinct is that she's not the asshole for not inviting her, especially if she's openly said, I don't like Twilight. It's a Twilight
Mhm.
event. However, it kind of sucks seeing like, oh, everyone in my friend group is going to this thing and I didn't get invited. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm the person that like I just want to be invited for me to say no. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
So
completely agree.
I think that OP is an asshole
I do. I think I
because
agree.
this could have been a different kind of conversation.
Mhm.
This could have been a, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. We didn't really think that you would want to do this. We would love for you to come." That could have been
Mhm.
it. Let's have a conversation about something else later. But it wasn't that. It was defensive. And I think that that
Mhm.
makes OP kind of an asshole.
It makes it very intentional as to like why she didn't invite this friend. Now, if all of these people are like all friends from high school and they all hang out together,
Mhm.
like through different events, and then even if the friend doesn't really care for Twilight,
Mhm.
that's kind of I mean, that's kind of like that's what being a friend is. Like your friends, yes, you have common interests, but everybody has something different that they love. Like
Right.
for you and me, for example, I don't know anything about wrestling. But if you invited me to go to a wrestling match
Right.
event, I would absolutely go because I know that you're really excited. Vice versa, if there was like a K-pop event that I really wanted to go to and I was like,
Absolutely.
please come with, like, you should come with me. I think that you'd really vibe to this. You would show up. Like, it doesn't mean that we have to like every single thing. We have common interests, but we also have different. Now, to make this person seem like, well, she's socially awkward and only like clings to her boyfriend,
That's an excuse.
that's an excuse. It's so terrible because
Yeah.
if you have a partner in your life, be it whatever, male, female, non-binary, whoever, you have a partner in your life, like, you're typically going to spend more time with that person because they are more of your safe space. Whereas,
Right.
like, if you don't like, but then to exclusively exclude somebody just because they don't like that makes you an asshole. That's immediately an asshole. If you're just like, well,
Especially
I know that they're part of our friend group, but they don't like it, so I'm just not going to tell them.
especially since they know that I'm their closest friend. And when we all
Mm-hmm.
hang out, they mostly talk to me. If you know
Mm-hmm.
that and you don't offer an invitation, that what do you think
It's
is going to
hurtful.
happen? That's hurtful. You're being
It's
intentionally
hurtful.
hurtful. And I cannot believe. So when I found this Reddit, they called her not the asshole. And everyone's like, she's
Yeah.
clingy, like, get her off, stage 5 clinger, like, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. That has nothing to do with this. It has everything to do with, I didn't invite my friend. I didn't invite this person to this event because I didn't think that they liked it. And then they told me that they were hurt that they didn't get invited, but I'm not the asshole. They kind of suck and they're clingy anyways. Sounds like you've made your decision about the friendship.
Yeah, so why can't you be honest with that person and then to be like, "Oh, well, they just fish for an invite." Like, that's clearly they're trying to build a
connect.
relationship. They're trying to
Yeah.
connect with you. So, like, you're making them feel bad. That's why nowadays a lot of people don't ask to be invited and they just stay in their own space because of situations like this where they're like, well, while I'm not the biggest fan of that, I would still like to spend time with you.
Same.
I'd like to spend time with these people. And that's a hard thing when you have social anxieties to be able to vocalize or to build that type of community, because in reality, this is what happens when you're trying to build a community. People are like, oh, well, you're a stage 5 clinger and you overshare, or you just you don't fit in the way that we want you to fit in. And it's like, why do we have to be like Stepford? We don't need to be Stepford people.
Right.
Can we just have our own individualities and then we can bond on similar things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I think collectively we believe that this person is an asshole.
Yeah, we believe that this person's an asshole. So, 2 assholes for our hashtag Ask a Millennial. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. Now, remember, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends all about the podcast. Email us all of your stories, peakmillennialspod@gmail.com, or go to Instagram right now. Find us, Peak Millennials Pod, and send us a little message. We'll probably do a little poll, probably do a little something. But thank you.
Send us topics you want us to little chitty chat about. Give us your favorite millennial movie. Let's talk about it.
Ooh,
tell me.
I'm into it.
Yeah, tell us topics you'd like us to talk about. And if Instagram is your vibe, throw us a thing on Instagram, or you can reach out to us on TikTok. I'm on TikTok at Natalie Christina. I'm on Instagram at Natalie Christina. You can slide into my DMs, tell me a little something. Where can people find you, my dear?
_ queer auntie on all social media, unless they don't allow underscores like Blue Sky. I've been hanging out on Blue Sky lately, which has been fun.
I'm going to join this week because I'm very curious.
Yeah, you should. It's hard to get into it when you first start, but keep at it, because then your feed starts to curate to things that you like. And remember, when life is so dark, it's so bleak, everything sucks. But remember to curate your social media to the things that make you happy, and
yes,
cut the bullshit, because I don't think that we have time or space or brain activity for all of that. So
keep it cute, keep it light, keep it fun. What a good week. This was such a good chat. Thank you for chatting about this with me.
We got a tight turnaround here. So thank you guys so much again. And we'll see you again next week.
See you next week. Bye, y'all.